Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. This time we're tackling Sportsbox 3D Studio. And, we've got some marketing materials and spec sheets and all sorts of stuff here. But what really caught my eye is the technology and how it's changing learning and improvement, not just in golf, but potentially all kinds of sports.
Yeah, and what's really interesting to me is that Sportsbox isn't just riding some kind of tech wave. They're really addressing a need. Golfers are data hungry. But traditional analysis can be really limiting. The system bridges that gap. It's high tech, but also really user friendly.
Okay, so let's get a picture in our heads here.
Yeah.
What exactly is Sportsbox 3D Studio, and how does it work?
So picture this. You walk into a golf studio, all right? But instead of just a launch monitor, you've got three high-tech cameras all trained on you. You swing, and within seconds, boom, you're looking at a 3D representation of your swing, every angle, every movement captured without a single sensor on your body.
No sensors. That's pretty wild. Is that where this markerless motion capture comes in?
Bingo! It's a technology that's been making some noise in animation and even medical analysis, and now Sportsbox has brought it to the golf world. It's a big deal because it removes a lot of the barriers that came with older motion capture systems.
So no more clunky suits and complicated setups.
Yeah.
That's a win for accessibility for sure. But what does this mean for the golfer? What are the key benefits of using Sportsbox 3D Studio?
I think the biggest one is immediate detailed feedback. You're not just seeing your swing in 3D. You're seeing beta points overlaid on it, club head speed, swing, plane, impact angle, all the things coaches talk about, but you're actually seeing them in action.
Yeah, I think that's what's so cool about this. It's not just data for data's sake. It's about visualizing those details that can really make or break your swing. And, they highlight these 36 3D indicators. What can you tell us about those?
Think of them as a secret decoder ring for your swing. They give you specific measurements at key points throughout your swing, so you understand not just what's happening, but WHY. It goes beyond just watching a video of yourself. It's about pinpointing the exact moment your swing goes off track and then being able to correct it.
Wow, so that's a level of insight that's impossible to get with traditional methods. It's like having X-ray vision for your golf swing. They also emphasize this comparison tool. What makes that so powerful?
I think it's all about understanding cause and effect. Let's say you're working on, eliminating your slice. You can compare your current swing to a previous one or even to a pro swing and see exactly how those 36 indicators are different. That's where those aha moments happen.
Okay, but how does that actually lead to improvement on the course?
Because when you see the side-by-side comparisons, you're not just guessing at what to change, you're actually seeing the concrete differences in the data. It helps isolate the exact adjustments you need. It takes the guesswork out of improvement.
So it's like having a scientific blueprint for a better golf swing. And speaking of coaches, it seems like Sportsbox 3D Studio is designed for them, too. They've got this student management center. What's that all about?
Think of it like a central hub for student progress. Coaches can create profiles for each student, store all their swing data, track improvement over time, and even share specific swings with notes and feedback. It's like a digital coaching platform. It takes a lot of the busy work off their shoulders.
That's huge,
Mhm.
especially for coaches who are working with, a lot of students. It's like having a virtual assistant for golf instruction.
Mm.
But let's be real. All this tech sounds pretty high-end. What about the person who's just starting out or maybe doesn't have a dedicated studio space?
And that's where the different subscription options come in, and I think this is where Sportsbox gets really interesting. They recognize that not everyone needs or can afford a full studio setup, so they've created options to make the technology more accessible.
Okay, so what are those options? I see Pro Studio and Pro Mobile mentioned a lot.
Right. So Pro Studio is that top-tier full studio experience. It's where the three AIVIWORKS cameras come in. These are cameras specifically designed for the system to capture that markerless motion capture data with the highest possible fidelity.
So Pro Studio is the gold standard when it comes to data capture. What about people with a tighter budget or limited space? That's where Pro Mobile comes in, right? What's the deal there?
Exactly. Pro Mobile is about flexibility. Instead of those dedicated cameras, it leverages the camera on your smartphone or tablet. Now, obviously, you won't get the same data fidelity as the AIVIWORKS cameras, but
But wouldn't relying on a phone's camera introduce some inconsistencies? I'm thinking lighting changes, shaky hands, things like that.
that's a great point, and that's why the GPOD Studio is so important. It's not just about holding the phone steady. It's about ensuring that the camera angle is the same every single time, so the software can accurately analyze your swing. Plus, with Pro Mobile, you can take your coaching anywhere from the driving range to your own backyard.
So it really opens up accessibility, especially for coaches who are always on the go. So I've got two very different ways to experience Sportsbox 3D Studio. But just to recap, What does each subscription offer?
Sure. So with Pro Studio, you get the full studio experience, the AIVIWORKS cameras, the highest level of accuracy, and that dedicated setup.
Right. And with Pro Mobile, you're trading some precision for portability. You're using your own device's camera with the GPOD Studio for that added stability.
It's a great example of how technology is adapting to meet different needs and use cases. It's not a one-size-fits-all world anymore.
And that's what's so exciting about all of this. Sportsbox 3D Studio isn't just for the pros. It's for anyone who's serious about improving their golf game, no matter their skill level or their budget. But before we dive into the subscription models, I'm curious about the software itself. We talked about the cameras, the data capture, but how does the software take all that information and make it useful for both golfers and coaches?
That's where the magic really happens. And that's what we'll be diving into in our next segment. Stay tuned. All right, so let's talk about the software. Because, the hardware is impressive. But the software is really what unlocks the potential of Sportsbox 3D Studio.
Yeah, we can't just gloss over that. It looks like from these materials.
Yeah.
It's not just about displaying the data, it's about making it actionable.
Right, exactly. They could have just made a system that, shows a cool 3D model of your swing. But they went so much further. The software is designed to be powerful but also intuitive, whether you're a coach or a golfer yourself.
Okay, so walk us through it. What are some of the features that stood out to you?
Well, first off, the visualization tools are amazing. You can view your swing from any angle you want, zoom in on specific areas, even slow down the playback to really break down each movement.
So it's like having a high-speed camera at your fingertips. That must be really useful for identifying those little flaws that you can't really see with the naked eye.
Oh, absolutely. And remember those 36 3D indicators we talked about? The software displays them in a way that's really easy to understand, whether you're, a tech person or not.
So it's not just about seeing the data, but making sense of it? What kind of insights can a golfer actually get from those indicators?
Well, let's say you're having trouble with consistency in your ball striking. The software can show you how your club face, angle, swing path, and impact position change from swing to swing. That's data that you could actually use to make adjustments.
It's like having a detective for your golf swing. But it's one thing to know the problem. It's another to actually fix it. How does the software help with that?
That's where the drawing tools come in. You can actually draw lines and angles right on the video measure distances and really get into the details of your swing mechanics.
Okay, so I'm seeing how powerful this could be. It's not just watching a video. You're interacting with it, analyzing it, using it as a guide to get better.
Exactly. And for coaches, there are a ton of tools designed to help them work better with their students. The Student Management Center we talked about is a great example.
Yeah, we just briefly mentioned that earlier. What makes that so useful for coaches?
Imagine being able to store all your student swing data in one place, track their progress, and even compare their swings side by side. That's what the Student Management Center lets you do.
So it's not just a storage system. It's a tool for analysis and communication.
Mm.
Coaches can really personalize their instruction.
Exactly. They can share specific swings with their students, add notes and comments, and even create drills based on the data. It takes out the guesswork in coaching and allows for a much more tailored approach.
It's like having a virtual assistant for all things coaching. We've talked about all the data and analysis, but what about the fun factor? Is the software enjoyable to actually use?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. They've done a great job making it engaging and user-friendly. That instant replay after each swing is awesome for getting immediate feedback. And the 3D visualizations are just cool to look at. It's like a video game for your swing.
So it's not just about work and improvement. It's also about exploration and having some fun along the way.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this software so compelling. It works for a wide range of people, from serious golfers who want to analyze every single detail to people who just want to have fun and, play better golf.
As we're talking about this, I keep thinking about the bigger picture here. We've been focusing on golf, but could this kind of system be used for other sports too?
That's a great question, and it's one that a lot of people are asking. We'll explore those possibilities and more after a quick break.
All right, so we're back. And it got me thinking. We've been deep in the weeds here with Sportsbox 3D Studio, the cameras, the software. But it feels like we're just scratching the surface of what this tech can actually do.
Yeah, I was reading an article just the other day about how they're using markerless motion capture to help athletes recover from injuries.
Yeah.
It made me think about all the possibilities beyond just golf.
That's what I love about these deep dives. We start with one topic, and it just opens up all these other questions and possibilities.
Yeah.
So where do you see this technology going beyond golf?
Well, think about other sports where precise movement is key. Baseball, tennis, even dance. Imagine using a system like this to analyze a pitcher's delivery or a dancer's technique. The potential for improvement is huge.
And it's not just for pros either, right? This could be a game changer for coaches at all levels, even for physical therapists working with patients.
Definitely. What if every high school had access to this kind of technology? It could really level the playing field. Give everyone access to the same level of analysis and coaching. Help athletes of all ages reach their full potential.
It's like giving everyone their own personal biomechanics lab. And it's not even just about performance. I can see this being used to help people with their posture, their walking, even just overall movement. It could have a real impact on health and wellness.
I totally agree. And as the tech gets even better and more affordable, I think we'll see it become part of our everyday lives. Imagine a future where everyone has access to personalized movement data and feedback, helping us all move better, perform better, and live better.
That's quite a picture you're painting. It's like a whole new way of thinking about our bodies and how we move in the world. But let's bring it back down to earth for a second. For our listener who's intrigued by a Sportsbox 3D studio and wants to know more, what's the best way to get started?
I would say head over to the Sportsbox website. They've got tons of information, videos, case studies, and their team is super knowledgeable.
Great point. And we'll be sure to include all those links in the show notes. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Sportsbox 3D Studio, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. We've talked about all the technical stuff, but what's really exciting to me is the potential to empower people.
I love that. It's not just about the gadgets and data. It's about giving folks the tools to take control of their own learning and development.
Right. Whether you're a golfer trying to improve your score, a coach who wants to give better instruction, or just someone who's curious about how their body moves,
Yeah.
this technology opens up so many doors, and who knows what other amazing breakthroughs are coming as it keeps evolving.
It really is an exciting time to be following all this. Thanks for having me on the show. It's been a great conversation.
The pleasure was all mine. And to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this exploration of Sportsbox 3D Studio and the future of movement analysis. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.